It's a game of brutality, and it's a beautiful part of it. So guys are going to play well. It's a competitive squad.
It's a brilliant answer from Scott Robertson. It's the answer that you want from the All Black coach, because there can't be any mollycoddling. Come on, this is professional sport. You don't get given your place, you earn your place.
We know how strong they are, and the Argentinians on their day will, so creative, got a lot of professional players coming through Europe. They come back, that are really, really well coached.
So when you add all of that to it, it just feels like this is a tournament to win. And I'm not sure, as an All Black fan, as a rugby fan, I've ever felt so strongly about the Rugby Championship. I mean, it's always about the World Cup, but there's just something about this particular version of it.
DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome again to the DSPN, people. Martin Devlin and Lachlan Waugh. First press conference of the Rugby Championship for Scott Robertson and the All Blacks. Of course, we play Sunday morning in Cordoba, and that follows the first of the RC matches, and that's the South Africans at Ellis Park against Australia. So I got to ask a couple of questions and started with, how important is this particular version of the Rugby Championship? Of course, Razor's only coached one previous year to this, but it does feel on this side of the microphone, people, and I'm sure yourselves at home as well, that there's something extra about this particular tournament. Obviously, with South Africa coming to New Zealand as well. The World Cup, 2 years gone, 2 years in the future. We're right in the middle of that. Lost 4 games last year. So when you add all of that to it, it just feels like this is a tournament to win. And I'm not sure, as an All Black fan, as a rugby fan, I've ever felt so strongly about the Rugby Championship. I mean, it's always about the World Cup, but there's just something about this particular version of it. All the teams seem to have something to prove. And in a long-winded way, put that question in a much more concise version to the All Black coach. Couple of questions. I want to just ask you about the Rugby Championship in a second, but just some updates quickly. First, Scott, please, on both Bowden and Scott Barrett.
Both available.
Does this Rugby Championship feel different from others recently? I know you've only been charged for one other one. It feels like it's really important, that it's even more important and more valuable to win this year. Do you get that feeling?
My job is, I understand definitely, Marty, and the importance of it. I think what you're saying is everyone's feeling is how competitive it's going to be. You've just got a Aussie team that played some great footy at the back end there of the Test series. You got the South Africans, we know how strong they are, and the Argentinians on their day will, so creative, got a lot of professional players coming through Europe. They come back that are really, really well coached. So it's it's a hell of a competition, very, very tight, and just what we need.
One more question from me then. What's more important this year? And I mean, this is just a question we ask on this side of the microphone. Is it more important this year to win that Rugby Championship, or is it more important to beat the Springboks twice at home?
They're one and the same, aren't they? I think anyone that's looking at it to win the Rugby Championship, you've got to beat them twice. Well, anyone's got to beat each other twice. That's probably the reality of it.
Several follow-up questions then from the rest of the media scrum. They were also on this press conference, included, have you settled on the squad and an update on the injured players?
Yep, settled on the team. We name it internally tomorrow morning. And look, what I've learned in the last 3 tests, you never guarantee that it's going to be the same team. So we play rugby, and it's a game of brutality, and it's a beautiful part of it. So, look, guys are going to play well. It's a competitive squad, and we'll look to have some continuity, but also if people perform and we need to build some depth, there could be a couple of changes.
Richie news last week that he has re-signed with New Zealand Rugby and he's eligible to play for the All Blacks next year. A couple of questions were asked about this as well, including, has it been talked about in the squad?
No, I think everyone's just really, really pleased. I think New Zealand Rugby is pleased, and just general rugby supporters that everyone is coming back into our game, and he's going to be around for a Rugby World Cup. He had served our country for a long time, and he's going to come back and do it again. And one thing we're really proud of is all the retention of our players. We've got a group of guys that are hugely committed to the All Blacks, and it's great to have another one back.
And another question was asked, and I must admit, this one here I was shaking my head at, but he gives a really good answer to it, Scott Robertson, which is why we're going to include it in this particular piece. The question was along the lines of, have you put your arms around the other first fives and reassured them with the news that Mwanga is back? And it's a brilliant answer from Scott Robertson. It's the answer that you want from the All Black coach, because there can't be any mollycoddling. Come on, this is professional sport. You don't get given your place, you earn your place. And that's exactly how he explains it.
No, they're big boys. They know the game. It's game of professionalism. We're here to compete. The jersey's bigger than everyone, buddy. It's so everyone knows that it's always earned. That's the exciting thing about it.
And finally, a lot of the press conference ended with talk about Scott Robertson's own experiences in Argentina playing for the All Blacks in 2001. We looked as though we were going to lose that match. It was over the 80 minutes. Ball could have gone out on the right-hand side of the field. Somehow we managed to rescue that. It comes back to Ben Blair. He makes the cut and raises on the end of that in the left-wing corner, Bernie's corner, if you're from Wellington, to score the try that secured that win for John Mitchell's side. John Day, our colleague, all over that and a couple of other follow-up questions.
Hey Razor, John Day here. Are you still buying Ben Blair some beers from that day?
Yeah, Ben, I suppose you sort of move on as a player, but when it comes back to you, like Ben obviously had a nice right foot step. That's probably the only move he did have, and he can only pass off his right hand as well. So it was great to get that on the chest and dive in. But he created it. I think Contaponi missed touch and a couple of passes later in the far corner, but that was a hell of a test. As a reminder, the passion that night and and just getting to play them, you realise how much these tests over here are and how much it means to them. So, yeah, it was a reminder.
And just on your current squad, you got some newbies. Simon Parker's one of them. Would he be ready for a cauldron in Argentina and Test rugby this weekend? And what do you like about him, and what position can he make an impact?
Oh, we obviously like him a lot because we picked him, and he can play 6 and 8, and he's off one sleep. But he turned up today. We've had some great weather here, and he slotted straight in. So we'll find out Thursday if he's playing some footy on Saturday.
And Kyle Preston as well. How's he fitting in at the next level up?
Yeah, good. No, look, great. Look, sort of 1 or 2 trainings in. So, look, he's getting the ball off the deck and he does his homework. He's a good pro.
So there you have it. That was the first press conference out of Argentina this morning. The team naming, as Scott Robertson says, is going to be internal tomorrow. We'll be back with another press conference on Friday. That is when the team gets officially released to us, the media, and the general public. And we'll have full analysis of that team naming and the press conference after that on Friday.
This is the DSPN.